define your perfect week, right? What's that ideal schedule reference point? How do you figure out where do you want to work? Where do you want to do personal time? And then, it's potentially never going to fully hit it, but you're kind of always intentions sort of going towards that. And then your team sort of understands how they can help you, hit what your goal is. The next one is sort of big company constraints are often self-imposed, right? Like you sort of define organizations may have rules or regulations or things to follow, but those policies, arguably are meant to be broken, but potentially, become a limiter in your own sort of ability to grow and sort of run with them. Health kind of is this foundation for performance, right? I mean, again, if you're sick, not a lot's going to get done. Even if you try to go do work, you're not going to do your best work. And then this idea of boomer ride versus boomerang, like we kind of coined a new term, this idea of like, hey, ride or die, you're going to just that person you see over and over again to come together. And then again, how do you have that deep trust over a really long-term alignment? And then I think the final was this idea of, Jason rocked out the Ray-Bans. I pulled out some massage balls and sort of like, sort of targeted recovery, sort of mobility stuff. And I think just thinking about like, there can be sort of interesting gadgets on both sides of the spectrum of like the most geeked out, insane tech stuff. And then back to like literally just rolling on a floor, trying to, break up some, tough tissue in a muscle after a big workout.